Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and this is my review for Gun Clover, Chapter 17. Now, if you guys don't know Gun Clover, you should read it. It's a really awesome series. Less than 10 chapters into it, it had already climbed up to my manga list to being one of my favorite manga. It's really good. The only problem with it is that it can be extreme at times. Personally, I don't mind. I can get past it, but it, some people might not be able to. And what I mean when I say that it gets extreme at times is like the action slash gore, also the ecchi. I don't really call it fan service because at times it isn't really fan service. Like there will be torture scenes where someone will be stripped naked and tortured or about to be tortured. And personally, I only consider it fan service if I can enjoy it, but I don't enjoy seeing people get tortured or anything like that, so I don't consider it fan service. But it can be extreme at times like that, or with just regular fan service. And even the comedy can get extreme. Well, it doesn't really make sense to say that the comedy is extreme, but I mean that the content of the joke can be at a level that you don't really expect. Like, for instance, towards the end of chapter 16, the main character, Morito, he's going on this mission because this is a series about mercenaries. He's going on this mission, and two girls end up going with him, sneaking into the plane and going with him. One is Giselle, and she says she's going because the part of the mission is to rescue her sister, and she just wants to go and help. But the other girl, well, it's not Kotonoa, it's Yatsuba. Kotonoa has multiple personalities. Yatsuba, she says her reason for going is that she didn't want to be left. She just didn't want to be left behind. But also, she didn't feel as though she could leave Morito with Miss I want Morito's sperm. So it's that's not exactly a joke you would hear often in a manga, let alone being said by a girl. So the comedy can get extreme at times. And if you can't handle, but that's not really that big of a deal though. If you can't handle the gore or the fan service, then I can understand not reading the series. But it really is a good series. It's amazing, and I would recommend it. If for me, the point where you know whether you're gonna like it or not is when Morito uses drill sergeant mode, which it's not like some supernatural thing or anything. But the series is not very supernatural at all. There is supernatural elements to it, but not like super. Well, you just read the series for yourself. But I think drill sergeant mode is around 4 or 5 chapters in. But once you get there, if you finish that chapter and you still don't like it, then you should drop it. But don't let anything before that stop you, because it does get incredibly awesome. But that's enough about that. Now just get into the chapter itself. It starts off with Kotonoa, and Giselle. They're driving, Morito and Mizuki in the back seat, and it turns out that Mizuki hasn't left yet. She's staying for their mission, and they're not really sure why she's staying. Morito is pretending to be his rookie novice self around Mizuki, and Giselle and Kotonoa aren't exactly big fans of seeing him be that pathetic. Then they tell him to. They say that he should just reveal to Mizuki like his true personality and who he really is, a master rank. But he ends up not doing it. Mizuki tries to figure out what they're talking about. And there's a scene where they're all like trying to pull on Morito's face and like get him to do what they're saying. So that's kind of funny. But eventually they end up getting to border control, which is the place that they were going to. And the guys who they meet there, they're acting like they're gonna rape the girls. And obviously, they're not gonna beat Giselle. And Kotonoa has multiple personalities, so she can switch to Mitsuba, or even Futaba, Itsuba as well. She can switch to a bunch of personalities to beat people up, and Mizuki's good too. she's what, A rank or double A rank or something like that, if that's that's even a rank. But it's obvious they're not gonna beat those three. But Morito tells them to just deal with it because what they're trying to do is hold them down. And then, but some big black guy shows up and he's trying to like get with Morito. Oh, hey man. So Morito decides to actually play along with this guy, and he starts walking away with him, and you can see the words "I'm gonna kill this guy" on his back. So that was pretty funny. But Giselle and Kotonoa, they know that Morito can take care of himself, or Yatsuba maybe. I don't even remember which personality it was at this point, but they both know that Morito can take care of himself. But Mizuki doesn't actually realize that. She thinks he's actually being taken. She thinks he's being taken advantage of. So she stops the guy. Morito tries to tell her, hey, calm down. She says, no, just stay back. You're gonna get in the way. Which, no, he wouldn't. But she tells him to stay back, and she's gonna take care of everything. So she just beats the guy up. Actually, I think she one-shotted him. And she actually looked pretty legit doing it. Her eyes and everything was drawn really well. That's another thing about this series. I like the art at times. Sometimes they try to exaggerate things, but, usually the art's pretty good. After Mizuki beats the one guy up, this brawl starts. Itsuba comes out, starts beating people up. Giselle starts beating people up. Then the boss lady shows up, and she sees what's going on. Itsuba attacks her, and just gets beaten incredibly easily. The lady then grabs hold of Mizuki, and I think she loses consciousness, I believe, too. Yeah, she loses consciousness, and Morito he gets serious actually, and you can see his bloodlust, and the woman can sense it too. So she slams Mizuki to the ground and switches her attention to Morito. But then she sees his face, and she recognizes him. And then we learn from Morito that she's a former student. Not only do we learn that, but we learn that her name is Daigo Hiromi, which is a very masculine name. According to the scanlators, it's similar to Butch or Richard, the English language. It's a really masculine name. And according to Morito, he used to be a guy, or she used to be a guy. But Daigo says that Morito told him that he preferred mature women, so he decided to become a mature woman. Boy, is she mature. Jesus Christ. But she ends up working together with she gets them a helicopter, and she says that with her help they'll get to the Teotoro place in half a day, so they can afford to sleep there for the night. She tries to get Morito to sleep with her, but it doesn't really work out the way she intended. The three girls end up sleeping in the same room. Kotonoa is actually sleeping topless, which I don't mind exactly. But Mizuki finally wakes up, and Kotonoa and Giselle end up waking up as well. And Kotonoa asks Mizuki if she likes Morito, and she says that rather than liking him, it's more like she's worried about him. And not only that, but she doesn't know the real him, so she's just kind of interested. Because if you remember the incident with Tora, where Morito he actually goes into drill sergeant mode. Mizuki was around for all that. She actually saw it. But so she should be like Giselle and know Morito's true identity. But the next day, he was back to being normal fake Morito. So she just doesn't really know what to think about Morito. But since he's normal fake Morito majority of the time, well, all the time really, it's just that one incident that she's aware of. But since he's normal, fake Morito most of the time, she's thinking that like that one incident was just an exception. She's not even really sure. She just doesn't know what to think. But she tries to convince herself that the real Morito is in fact awesome. But then the Giselle and Kotonoa end up covering for him because they know from earlier that Morito doesn't want Mizuki to know. And when she actually starts talking about her actual feelings for Morito, she says that just like her sister, Morito is her type. It's just that she wants to be with someone who's stronger than her, which Morito is stronger than her. So the girls point out, they don't say it out loud, they're just thinking it, but they point out that Morito is actually her perfect man. But that's pretty much, it's not really how the girl talk ends. One of the more extreme parts of the fan service was when they would start talking right away. Giselle holds Mizuki back. Kotonoa gets her fingers ready, and then on some freezing status crap, Kotonoa starts to fear Mizuki. And that's how they get her to talk. But then after Mizuki talks, she decides she's gonna get some payback. So she fingers them for who knows how long. And then Morito sees them the next day and they're all embarrassed and everything because of what happened. So that was funny. But they end up leaving on the helicopter. Daigo sees them off, but then some random guy shows up. His face was obscured. We didn't actually get to see him. So I don't know, maybe he'll show up later and his face, and it'll be like a character we know, like Alex or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. It's not Alex. It was the first name that come to mind. But that guy, for some reason, they just didn't. The author slash artist. The author is not the artist of the series. There are two different people who work on it. But the artist just didn't show the guy's face. So I don't know if there's a reason for that, or if it's just he didn't feel like coming up with a design. But we don't see him. But we hear. He tells Daigo something, and we don't know what, but he tells Daigo something, and we see Morito and the others in the helicopter, the pilots talking to them, and he actually knows a lot about the Force, and he tells him that it's believed to be alive for all these different reasons, and after he says that, this giant arm and hand just come out of the forest and head towards the helicopter, which is strangely supernatural for the series, because we have the languages and language grave, but I doubt that a forest coming to life like this, and it could be due to a language, let alone or a dead language even. So then again, there was a dead language that granted immortality to people, so who knows? But yeah, it's at the very, very end, we see these people from Teotoro. I'm pretty sure they were from Teotoro, but because we saw them last chapter as well when Giselle's sister was actually captured. So yeah, that's it for the chapter. There was good comedy. We got to learn how Mizuki feels about Morito. But that's pretty much the gist. The end was good. So I'll say this was a good chapter of Gun Clover. But yeah, that's it for this review. I'm gonna review this regularly, though. Since I've been missing lately, the review's kind of out a couple days late since the chapter came out a couple days ago. But like I said in my earlier reviews in the week, I was just busy, so I couldn't do it. But I will be reviewing this regularly every month or whenever the scanlations come out. But yeah, that's it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.